Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're jumping straight into the mechanics of your mind to figure out how we can actually unlearn our own exhaustion. It is a super fascinating look at the exact science of your neural identity and exactly how you can step into a completely new way of operating. Let's dive in.
Okay, be honest. You know that feeling when you wake up totally exhausted without having moved a single muscle? Like before you've even reached over to check a single email on your phone, you just feel completely drained. It's a completely universal invisible problem. But here's the good news. Your brain isn't broken. It's just highly likely that it's locked into this unconscious, repetitive loop that is literally sapping your vitality right out of you.
So imagine waking up and your very first thought is, man, I'm exhausted. Instantly, without skipping a beat, your brain believes you. It releases the actual physical chemistry of fatigue. Your breathing immediately gets shallow. Your posture kind of caves inward. Now, compare that to waking up and thinking, I'm grateful. Without a single thing changing in your outside world, your heartbeat automatically steadies and your shoulders straighten up. What this proves is absolutely wild. Your brain does not distinguish between what is physically real and what you just repeatedly imagine. It simply obeys whatever you feed it.
Which brings us to a concept called neural fatigue. This is that invisible exhaustion caused by an overwhelmed mind that is just constantly firing, 24/7, without any real rest. It's that constant, annoying background hum of overthinking. Listen, your brain isn't malfunctioning when you feel this way. It's just really, really tired. It is perfectly, faithfully executing the exact stress loops that you've unknowingly programmed into it.
Think of every single thought you have as a literal spark, an electrical command in your head. Now, if you hold on to that spark long enough, it becomes a hardwired circuit, and those circuits, they become your daily habits of being. You are physically redirecting the electrical traffic of your own mind. When you constantly repeat your fears, you're essentially paving a massive superhighway for anxiety. But on the flip side, when you consciously choose thoughts of peace, you begin rewiring the entire system from the ground up.
Let's actually break down the literal physics of our biology for a second. Your thoughts, they happen in the domain of the brain, and they act as electrical signals. Your emotions, on the other hand, happen in your body, and they act as a magnetic field. Put them together, and your mind and body generate a literal electromagnetic field. You are basically a walking radio tower, constantly broadcasting a frequency. So when your thoughts are saying, I want peace, but your body is physically holding on to anger, your energy fractures. And life? It just mirrors that exact chaos right back to you.
So, what's the ultimate goal here? It's something called coherence. Coherence is this beautiful state of harmony when your thoughts and your emotions finally agree with each other. When your electrical signals and your magnetic field actually align, your nervous system can finally shift out of survival mode and into a state of creation. This aligned energy literally stops draining you and starts recharging your vitality from the inside out. It's a total game changer. Now, to really appreciate the magic of coherence, we've got to look at the actual cost of incoherence. Did you know your brain consumes about 20% of your body's total energy? That means you are essentially powering a light bulb using nothing but the fuel of your own worries. Every single unnecessary stressor, every time you unconsciously replace some argument from 3 days ago, you are burning through your fuel reserves incredibly fast. You're flooding your body with cortisol for totally imagined threats. It's basically a massive short circuit. And the direct results of all that heavy brain fog, that emotional dullness, and that deep fatigue we talked about right at the start.
So how do we hit the brakes on this short circuit? By realizing something absolutely crucial. Silence isn't empty. It is intelligent. We live in this society that just worships speed, right? We fill every tiny gap in our day with noise. But silence is actually the ultimate reset button. When you finally give your mind some quiet, it shifts into the default network. It organizes your memories, it cools down your nervous system, and it lets the prefrontal cortex step back up and reclaim leadership from the emotional reactive part of your brain. Silence is quite literally the medicine your tired neurons are begging for.
Okay, let's actually experience this biological shift right now together. Wherever you are, just pause for a second. I want you to inhale slowly through your nose for 4 counts, hold it gently for 2, and now exhale deeply through your mouth for 6. Do you feel that subtle shift? That is your vagus nerve literally telling your entire survival system to just stand down. You literally just took conscious, manual control of your own biology. How cool is that?
All right, moving into reprogramming the emotional body.
Because your nervous system gets super addicted to familiar stress chemistry, basically mistaking predictable pain for safety, we have to intentionally unlearn these habits. And we can do this through what's called the observation ritual. It's this brilliant, simple 5-step process to liberate trapped emotional energy.
First up, just name the emotion. Second, locate exactly where it physically sits in your body. Third, just allow it to exist without fighting it. Fourth, quietly listen to what it's trying to teach you. And finally, step 5, transform it by breathing light and space right into that area. We don't heal by suppressing our emotions. We heal by observing them and actually letting the energy move. Now you might be sitting there wondering, well, why haven't my attempts to change worked in the past? It's because massive, sudden change absolutely terrifies your nervous system. It triggers homeostasis, which causes your body to aggressively resist and just snap right back to its baseline. But consistent micro-habits, those bypass the alarm system completely. They build trust, they gently build neuroplasticity over time. Your brain will always fight force, but it beautifully, willingly obeys a gentle rhythm.
And honestly, here's the most relieving number you're going to hear today: 5. It takes less than 5 minutes a day to completely rebuild your brain's architecture of change. Seriously, you don't need hours of meditation sitting on top of some secluded mountain. You just need tiny, repeated decisions that constantly prove to your biology that peace is your brand new default setting.
Okay, so here is your actual, actionable architecture of change. First, morning alignment. Spend just 60 seconds connecting your breath to your heart before you even look at your phone. Second, the 30-second reset. Use that 4-2-6 breathing technique we did earlier right in the middle of daily tension. And third, a night of gratitude. Recall 3 simple good things before you go to bed to intentionally shift your brain chemistry from cortisol to serotonin. 3 tiny micro-habits, massive, massive transformation.
Which brings us to the final piece of the puzzle, your new neural identity. When that obedient brain and that coherent heart finally sync up into a single field of living energy, a really profound shift happens. You realize you are not your emotions. You are the awareness that feels them. I kind of just want to pause for a second to let that paradigm shift truly land for you. You are not a victim of your past programming. You are the sky, your emotions are just the weather passing through. The second you observe an emotion without actually becoming it, you have entirely shattered the illusion. Which leads right into one of the most powerful takeaways from the source material. You don't think your way into peace, you must feel your way there. Healing isn't some intellectual exercise that you can just whiteboard your way out of. It is a physiological retuning of your entire body. When you hold a calm emotion long enough, your cells literally respond, and your entire energy field reorganizes itself. And that brings us to the final stage of all this transformation. When your internal state truly stabilizes, when your thoughts, your emotions, and your actions are perfectly aligned and humming in harmony, the external world literally has to reorganize to match it. Reality stops testing you, and it actually starts reflecting you. Opportunities, synchronicities, the right people, they all just begin to naturally flow toward you. Why? Because you are no longer projecting chaos. You are radiating order. Which brings us to this absolutely amazing realization. You no longer chase energy, you are energy. You finally step right out of survival mode, where you're constantly consuming and grasping for things, and you realize that you are a conscious creator. Your everyday presence speaks so much louder than your words ever could.
So, I want to leave you with one final question to just kind of chew on today. What kind of energy are you sending out into the world right now? Remember, every single thought is a spark, and every feeling is a magnet. You've got the tools,